Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Monday Mindset. So glad you're here. Kevin DeShazo's here with me. And so glad we're both in the kind of same place at the same time. You've been traveling so much, I just never know when I can catch you.
It's true. It's true. It's been a chaotic season. I've been all over the place. You've been all over the place. It's just it's busy. I mean, you were gone last week, right?
That's
I
right.
mean, you were in town, but
I was,
you had a
yes,
busy weekend.
I did. I had a fun weekend. My best friends from college, which we met the first week of 1989 of college. We are now 20. Let's see.
I wasn't even born then.
I don't.
That's not true. It's not true. People were just
What year
joking.
were you born?
1981.
Okay. Well, anyway, first week of college, 1989, I met these amazing women, and we're still to this day best of friends. We make it a priority to vacation together once a year, at least once a year. Some of us get time extra than that, but this was our 29th year to do this, and we spend just 4 or 5 days together catching up and drinking coffee and having fun together. So that's
I
great.
love it. I love it. I think the older I get, like you just realize more and more the not just the power of, but like the value of community.
Mhm.
Even if it's just that one time a year you gather, but just to have people that there's a consistency throughout life with is just
Yeah.
it's a valuable thing.
It sure is. These are women that I mean, it wouldn't matter. We do catch up all the time. We have a ongoing text that would drive most people absolutely crazy, but, I could catch up with any of them. I could tell them my deepest, darkest secrets. They're just encouragers, and it's everyone needs it. I wish everyone had it. So
Yeah.
seek it out if you
Amen.
don't, I guess.
Amen. Speaking of that,
Yeah.
it's similar but different, right? We had our giant summit last week here in Oklahoma City. We had how many people were at the actual event? 150, 180?
138. 138.
138. So 138 giants from around the globe. So again, not just here in Oklahoma, we had people from all over the U.S., people from across the pond who showed up for 3 days of connecting, of just being together. Right? It's been 2.5 years since we've gathered that way as giants. We've had smaller events here and there. But it's good to be back together for some learning, for some connecting, some kind of recharging, some inspiration. So it was great to have that group together. I was just on a call with some of the partners. We were talking about just how good it was to be back with people and be back with giants, and how energizing it was, and reaffirming of not just the work that we get to do and the impact that we get to make on massive organizations around the globe to the smallest local mom and pop shops in your small town, but the value of the people that we get to do that work with, and those relationships. So it was a blast. If that's something that you're like, what does Giant do? Like, what is that about? If you are a leadership speaker, if you're a leadership coach, if you're a leadership facilitator, if you're someone inside of an organization who kind of spearheads that within your own company, Tracy, you have a link you can put there for people to go?
Giantworldwide.com is where you want to go. I'll put the link up here in a second. But yeah, just there's a great on that link, giantworldwide.com. Here it is. On there, you'll see a set of three short videos that you can watch, which will really give you a great overview as to what we do here, what the methodology is, just a little bit about the community. It will really give you a good understanding of who we are and if it's something that you want to be a part of. So
Yeah, yeah. So on that one, amazing job by you organizing and putting that whole thing together. It was I
thanks.
was in and out, so with travel and clients and other stuff, I wasn't there for the full 3 days, but everything I saw was unbelievable. Every bit of feedback I've heard has been unbelievable, which is not a surprise. When Tracy's involved, things go well. But what was your, I don't say biggest takeaway, like other than just being with people, like what was the highlight of that 3 days for you?
Well, this is going to sound like a pitch, a commercial, but literally the Peace Index, which I had the book right here ready to show everybody. But Jeremy Kubicek has just written the Peace Index. It actually doesn't launch live until October 4th, but you can go ahead and pre-order. I'll put that link in here as well. But he did a keynote that we recorded, and all of our consultants around the world, they are able to purchase these for teams at a bulk discount rate where they can come and deliver the keynote to you, and you can partake in this book. It is life changing. And what I'll just give you a sneak peek as to what it is, but basically we use our basic tool of the Peace Index, where we talk about 5 Ps: your provision, your purpose, your place, your people, your physical or personal health. And it's a evaluation tool. It's like digging in there and going, what's off in my life, and how can I start putting some things into place to increase the peace in my life? Because I don't know of a person who doesn't want it more, want more peace. Any
Yeah.
comment to that?
It's awesome. It's, we've both been around Jeremy for years. We hear all of his ideas. We hear all the keynotes. We read all the books. We get to live alongside him every day and see this stuff. And I told him, so I've seen him give the keynote twice, two a little bit different versions, right? He did a local TEDx event, which is an 18-minute talk. And then this one was a longer kind of full-size keynote. And I told both, I said, I don't know if this is your best work, but it might be. Like, I don't know what I would say is his best work, but this might be up there. It's just really good. It's a really necessary and relevant message to today's world. Go buy the book, go pre-order the book. It's on Amazon. Like, go get it, read it. Buy a book for your friends, buy a book for your team. If you're a leader, yeah, I know this is a big long sales pitch, but it's that good.
Really
we're not promoting it just because it's Jeremy, because it's giant. Like, it is that good. Here, my favorite quote from the entire book, I think there's two, but and I'm going to butcher the specifics of it, but the idea, like, that maturity is you learning to manage your emotions so that others don't have to manage your emotions. It's like, if you can get that, it's like, don't make your emotional instability a burden on other people. Don't make everyone else deal with your emotional instability just because you won't deal with your emotions. And I'm not saying we don't have emotions, right? We do. We're humans, but like, we've got to be able to manage that. And we talk about it all the time on Monday Mindset, right? You've got to be able to understand your emotions, lead through your emotions, so that others don't have to. Like, that enables you to be at peace and also bring peace to other people. So that is like just one little sneak peek of that book, but go buy it. I thought the keynote I thought it was great. I totally agree.
Yeah. Here's the Porchlight Books link. It's a really long link for me to put on here. So if you just go to porchlightbooks.com and put in an author name, like purchase books, put in the author Kubicek, Kubicek, that will allow you to get a pretty good discount right now before the actual launch date. So you can take advantage of that now through October 3rd, I believe.
Yeah.
And also, if you're in the Oklahoma City area, I don't even know that you know about this yet, Kevin, but we're having a launch event here at the Giant office. And so anyone is free to come to that if you're in the area or passing through. It is October 4th. We're doing just kind of a come and go from like 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning, where Jeremy will be available to talk about the book, sign books. You can purchase them.
He's just going to give the keynote all day long on repeat. He's just going to give it and then start again.
But then again at 4:30 to 6:30. So bring your team if you want. You can meet Jeremy, get some books, have him sign them. So.
Another, and we're gonna have to collect some royalty checks for this, by the way.
Exactly. We don't even get a benefit. Yeah,
we're just giving everything away here. I don't know the link, Tracy. You're kind of running the show on a lot of this stuff, but the Peace Index assessment. Where can people go? So if you're like, I'm not really sure, we've created a Peace Index assessment that you can go take. I think it's just Peace Index book is the
Peace
website.
Index, thepeaceindexbook.com, and you'll see a link at the top that says assessment.
Yeah, highly recommend take that. That will probably, if you're hesitant, take that, and then that will probably be the catalyst that you need to actually go and then pre-order the book. So, Peace Index book, it launches October 4th. It was definitely a highlight of the guide, or the Giant Summit last week.
It really was. It was. Okay, well, I know you have a lot for us today, so let's get to it. What do you think?
I've got 2 minutes. You ready?
Uh-oh. Okay.
Just kidding. So here's what I've been thinking about lately, and based on a couple conversations that I've been having with different leaders, with different athletes, with different people in the community. And it's on this idea of having a positive, a healthy mindset. And I was working with someone recently, and they've been working on their mindset, doing a great job. And then they experienced a setback, right? They had a loss in their business. Just like you can have a loss in sports, just like you can have a loss in anything, right? And so they were really frustrated, which is okay, right? Nobody likes losing, whether it's missing out on a promotion, whether it's missing out on closing a deal, whether it's losing a game, right? We don't like to lose, so that's okay. But they in their frustration, we were talking. They said, "What's the point of any of this? Like, if it doesn't guarantee me the outcome, Like if I'm going to try to have a good mindset and lose, I'm going to have a bad mindset and lose. Like why work on my mindset at all? And I know that they were just talking out of emotions at that point, right? I know they weren't being serious, but they also were being a little bit serious because we all question that. Because here's the reality, that like the unfortunate truth. Hopefully, we've said it at some point in the last 2.5 years on Monday Mindset. If we haven't, I'm going to say it now. Having a positive and healthy mindset does not guarantee you positive outcomes. It just doesn't, right? We cannot guarantee any outcome. You can have a great attitude, a great mindset, great preparation, do all the right things, and still lose. It's called life. There are no guarantees when it comes to the outcome. But I know that there are guarantees when it comes to the outcome if you have a negative mindset. Because I know that if you show up with a bad attitude, I know that if you show up with doubt, if you show up with a lack of commitment, if you show up with a lack of preparation, if you show up with a lack of belief in that good things can happen, you're right. Good things won't happen because you don't believe it's possible. When you don't believe it's possible, when you don't expect the good outcomes, you don't work for the good outcomes. You don't give your best effort when you don't have your best attitude. Right? Your mindset impacts your actions, and your actions shape your reality to a degree. Right? So if you have a negative mindset, if you have an unhealthy mindset, that means you are going to have negative actions. You're going to have unhealthy actions. You're not going to bring your best to the day. You're not going to bring your best to that game. You're not going to bring your best to that meeting. You're just not. And if you don't bring your best, you might as well guarantee the loss. If you win, it's going to be on accident. If you win, it's because maybe the other person was just more negative and had an even unhealthier mindset. And it's the battle of unhealthy mindsets. When you show up with a bad attitude, when you show up with a bad mindset, you are guaranteeing yourself a negative outcome. But when you show up with a good mindset, when you show up with the right attitude, when you show up with the right effort, when you show up with belief, when you show up with positivity, when you show up with optimism, you're giving yourself a chance. And that's the point, is that we can't guarantee ourselves the outcome, but we always want to put ourselves in position to have the best possible outcome. We always want to give ourselves a chance, because losing is part of life, but you don't want to lose because you didn't give yourself a chance to win. That's very different, right? You want to give yourself a chance to perform at the highest level. You want to give yourself a chance to have success. You want to give yourself a chance to have the right outcomes. That requires the right mindset. But here's the other thing, is that when you lose, and you will, right? Again, this is part of life. Losing is a part of the path. It's a part of the journey. It's a part of the process. But when you lose and you have a healthy mindset, you have perspective, right? Even in the midst of the loss, even in the midst of the setback, even in the midst of the adversity, you can still find the good. You can still find the lesson. You can still find the opportunity, because you don't define yourself solely by the outcome. Like, yeah, I know I lost, but I learned this. I know I lost. I know I didn't get the sale. I didn't get the job. I lost the game, but I figured this part out. And that's going to make me better in the next meeting. That's going to make me better with the next client. That's going to make me better in the next game. So that healthy mindset allows you to keep growing in the midst of the setback. It allows you to keep growing even when you lose. That negative mindset, that unhealthy mindset, you lose, and that's all you see. You only see the loss. You only see the failure. And so you quit and you give up. Like, I knew this was going to happen. Why did I even try? What a terrible day. This is awful. I didn't get the job, didn't get the promotion, lost the game, lost the deal. Why did I even try? And you multiply that negative mindset, which means you multiply those negative behaviors, which means you multiply the negative outcomes. But when you have a healthy mindset, when you have a positive mindset, and you lose and you fail and you face adversity and you have a setback, you have the healthy perspective, which allows you to learn, to grow, to adjust, to adapt, which gives you a better chance at success the next time you go out and compete, the next time you go into the meeting, the next time you interview for the job. Because you realize, like, I'm not defined by these outcomes. Everything is a part of the journey. Everything is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to get better. I don't have to be defined by an outcome. I can find joy in the process. I can be present in the process and realize, like, this is not final. Failure is not final. Setbacks are not final. It's just part of the journey. And for too many people, when you have that unhealthy mindset, right, you don't just get knocked down, you get knocked out. And you give up in the fight. But when you have that healthy mindset, you get knocked down, but you get back up. And you may get knocked down again, but you keep getting back up because you know that getting knocked down is not the end. You still have an opportunity to learn, to grow, to move forward, to make progress. But that only happens with a healthy mindset. So an unhealthy mindset focuses only on the outcome. We're defined only by the outcomes. And if we can't get the outcomes we want, then why would we even try? What's the point of any of it? But a healthy mindset, a positive mindset, is about the process because it's about controlling what you can control. I can't control outcomes. I can control the process. I can control how I show up in the midst of the process. I can control my attitude in the midst of the process. I can control my effort in the midst of the process. And if I can focus on controlling what I can control, then I give myself a much better chance, a much better opportunity to have the right outcomes. And even when I have the right outcomes, it's celebrate for a bit. What can I learn from the win? What can I learn from the success? What can I learn from closing the deal? How can I grow and get better and move on to the next one? Right? Because we celebrate, but we don't get complacent because we're not about the outcome. We're about the process. So it's a big challenge for us in a world that seems to be focused only on outcomes. Did you get the raise? Did you get the job? Did you win the game? Did you close the deal? Like, that's not what life is about because those moments last for about that long. And then we have to move on to the next day. So whatever failures you had in the past, like we don't keep reliving those, right? You lived them once. That was enough. Today's a new day. Today's a new opportunity. So can you challenge yourself today to just be present in the moment, to let go of the outcome? So I'm going to focus on what I can control. I'm going to focus on my mindset. I'm going to focus on my attitude. I'm going to focus on my efforts. I'm going to find a way to just get better today, regardless of what happens. Whether I win or lose, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to get better, and then I'm going to move on to the next day. Tracy, any thoughts on that?
I was just thinking because you work with so many different sports teams, who's your best example of this? I mean, no, you're watching a game and there's that guy or that girl that everyone's down and they're able to rally them up, rally them up, rally them up. Who do
Yeah.
you have one that comes to the top of your mind that's just like the standard?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll give you a bad example, but it's a good example. So a
Okay.
lot of you guys know, if you watch Monday Mindset, we work closely with the OU football team. We work with a lot of OU teams, and a lot of their teams the last 2 years have had unbelievable seasons. But Saturday night, OU lost. Right, they got upset by a really talented, really disciplined Kansas State team. But on the sidelines, like you could feel the crowd. They're like, "Oh, it's over. We screwed it up. We're done." The players, so it's like a minute and a half left. They're down by like 14. Like, that's fine. We're getting ready to go score. We're going to get an onside kick, and then we're going to go score again, and we're going to tie the game and go to overtime, and we're going to win. Like that was the conversation. Like, nobody was like, "We're done. We're done." Like, we messed it up. We're done. Like, they had the right attitude. They had the right perspective. Like, no, we're going to keep going. We're going to win. Like, we got to stay with it. We got to stay engaged. We got to be present. So it was just really interesting, like standing next to these players and even the coaches. Like, one of the coaches was like, "Look, guys," he goes, "as long as that clock is not at 0-0, I always think we're going to win. We always have a chance. Doesn't matter what the score is. Doesn't matter what's happening. We always have a chance if there's time on the clock." And OU kind of uses this mindset, and we've talked about it, I think, here before, called good. Right? It's like, you're losing at halftime, good. You're down in the fourth quarter, good. You're winning by 30, good. Like, it's whatever. It's like the moment is good because that means you're still in the game. You're still in the battle. You still have an opportunity. And so watching their perspective, and again, they lost the game, which can't control the outcomes, but they had a good attitude. They had the right mindset. They were present in the moment. And then in the locker room, heads were low, right? You've lost. That's okay. Nobody likes to lose. You don't expect them walking around high-fiving, but their senior leaders gathered the team together, said, "Hey, we're better than that. That's not who we are. It's one game. That's okay. We've got another game next week. We're going to regroup. We're going to refocus. And Monday's practice is going to be our best practice of the year. And then Tuesday's practice is going to be our best practice of the year. And then Wednesday's practice, like that's their mindset. It's like, hey, we lost. We're not happy about it, but there's something to learn. There's something to grow from. We're not defined. They're like, everything we want in the season is still in front of us. Right. So that perspective, like, hey, season's not over. That's game 4. There's a lot of season left. We don't give up. We keep fighting. We keep working. So for me, it was really encouraging to see, like, of course they're not happy with a loss, right? It's competition. They're there to win. They work their tails off because they want to be successful. But that to me showed that they had the right mindset, they had the right perspective, even when the outcome didn't go their way.
Love it. Yeah, and we talk a lot here about support and challenge, so
Mhm.
the fact that that's an opportunity to have some challenge, not to bring somebody back down from it, but to go, "Hey,
Yep.
we kinda messed up a bit.
Yeah,
We need to do different." So that's
that's
great.
right. And you start shaming people in that moment, like,
Yeah.
people are mad, right? It's like they lost. They know they screwed up. They know they didn't perform at their best. So, you coming in to scream and yell and shame, "What's
Right.
wrong with you? Why did you?" It's like,
Mhm.
it's just that's not helpful to anyone. Um, but that also doesn't mean that you don't hold people accountable, right? Just
Mhm.
because people think, well, just because we don't shame or yell or like that doesn't mean we don't hold people accountable. That doesn't mean there's no challenge. Like, no, there's always challenge, right? Because the standard is the standard, and if you fall below the standard, then there's got to be a conversation. We've got to hold you accountable to the conversation or to the standard. But
Mhm.
it's about how we do that, right? It's about calling you up to that standard, not shaming you just because you didn't reach it. Because you do that, people don't want to get better; they just get bitter toward you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so to remind them, like, hey, and that's a huge piece of leadership too. Is like when your team struggles, when they lose, you miss out on a big client or you have a bad quarter, whatever it is, like the team knows, right? They understand like that it didn't go well. They understand that they didn't perform to their best. And so as a leader, like what you do in that moment to say, hey, yeah, we fell short. Like let's not beat around the bush.
Mhm.
Let's not avoid the elephant in the room. Like we failed. And in this moment, we failed. We weren't good enough in this moment, but I believe that we are good enough. I believe that we do have what it takes. And here's what we're going to do to get better and make sure we're not in this situation the next time we're in this meeting or with a client like this or in a game, whatever it may be. Leaders, we get to define that, but that means we as leaders. So for you guys listening to this, who lead teams, that means that you have to have that right mindset, right? Your team's not going to have the right mindset if you don't have the right mindset.
That's right. Yeah. Well, every parent out there is probably going, "Can you come to my house and talk to my kids?" I remember that struggle of kiddos being down, when they miss a test or they do something, so, yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
So
It's
this is
good.
really applicable in so many situations, your team, your family, your organization, yourself. So
Yep.
great word, Kevin. As always, thank you for inspiring us this Monday. Don't know if you will be out of town next Monday. Do you know yet or?
Let's see.
Not sure.
Next
Okay.
Monday, as of today, I should be here. We'll see what
Okay.
happens between now and then.
Okay. Well, stay
Um,
tuned, everybody. We'll hopefully be back next week. And once again,
absolutely.
thanks so much.
See you
See you all
guys.
next time. Bye-bye.